Now, concern is growing for Kanye West after he posted and then deleted a series of tweets over the last couple of days on a range of topics, including a claim that his wife, Kim Kardashian West, was trying to get him hospitalised. Here is one of the tweets that we can show you now, in which he says doctors tried to commit him and that he's been trying to get a divorce from his wife. He also compares his mother-in-law, Kris Jenner, to Kim Jong-un. The 43-year-old has spoken in the past about having mental health issues, and earlier this month he announced he was running for president. During a rally in South Carolina on Sunday, he gave a long speech about gun control and about his faith, and he also tearfully revealed that he and his wife nearly terminated their first pregnancy. Let's take a look at a clip of that from the rally and a warning that some viewers may find it upsetting.
She said she was pregnant, and for 1 month, and 2 months, and 3 months, we talked about her not having this child. She had the pills in her hand. And people know these pills where you take the pills, and if you take it, it's a wrap. The baby's gone. And I called my wife, and she said, we're gonna have this baby. I said, we're gonna have this child. My mom saved my life. My dad wanted to abort me. My mom saved my life. There would have been no Kanye West because my dad was too busy.
So a lot of people have been quite worried since seeing that, and also seeing his tweets subsequently, some of which have been now deleted. Let's talk to Meg Kinnard, who's a political reporter for Associated Press, who covered that rally on Sunday night, and Ernest Owens, a multimedia journalist who's written on Kanye for over 10 years. Hello, both of you. Meg, first of all, how do you assess that rally and also his tweets in the last 48 hours?
It's needless to say, somewhat hard to make of exactly what Kanye West has been doing politically and on Twitter over the past couple of days. Attendees at that rally said that they kind of were curious about what was going to be happening. They've known Kanye West as an entertainer, but they're trying to figure out, what does he really mean? Is he actually running for president? Is this a real thing? There's also been a lot of discussion about West's previous own comments about mental health diagnoses and if that may be playing some role in what's happening here. I'll leave that to the experts to ascertain. But one thing I can tell you after watching that rally is it was somewhat unconventional. It was very different. I've covered campaign politics at the presidential level for 15 years. I've never quite seen anything like this. And, you know, this was something that we were not really expecting to see in this wild political cycle here in South Carolina and in the nation overall. And it also, we're still trying to figure out exactly what becomes of Kanye West's campaign from here on out.
Sure. Ernest Owens, do you take this apparent presidential bid seriously?
Not at all. I think that part of this is a part of behavior that Kanye has shown throughout his career. It seems like a lot of these, very anti-Black and misogynistic rants and antics often come when he has an album coming out. It should be noted that he has a new album coming out later this week, and that normally when these very polarizing acts happen, he's often selling shoes, clothes, products, pushing capitalism, and other ideas. And I really want people to understand that while Kanye does, suffer from mental illness, that he also, still has anti-Black sentiments that is rooted in white supremacy, and also has, a very negative treatment when it comes to Black women specifically, and also misogyny, and that those three things can coexist without being correlated or being a causation of mental health issues.
The host of The Daily Show, Trevor Noah, said, "I feel like someone who cares about him needs to take his microphone away." Do you agree, Ernest?
Yeah, I do think there needs to be an intervention here. And I also want to be clear that what we don't want to do is project a lot of these issues upon the women in his life. A lot of people have, tried to suggest that the death of his mother, which was very unfortunate, and, his current wife, Kim Kardashian, are to be somewhat correlated and responsible. And I think there's a lot of sexism in that when we don't look into the overall responsibility of this individual and also their accountability. And so I do think there needs to be an intervention, but I also want to be clear that we shouldn't put this onus specifically on women in his life and others to be accountable.
Sure. Meg, I mean, in that rally, he revealed some very, very personal information that they considered aborting their first child. Were you concerned for his mental well-being when you heard that?
I've certainly never heard a candidate really get that personal. And I say candidate because that's how Kanye West has referred to himself, and he has filed paperwork to that effect in some places. But it's a place that we don't really typically see. Oftentimes we'll see someone talking about their personal story. That's fairly common. And sometimes getting very personal and talking about some details that perhaps one might have never known about that person had they not been seeking such a public platform. But this was different. And there was a lot of back and forth, give and take, more crowd interaction than we really typically see with these kinds of events in other races with other candidates. But there was also a lot of opposition in some ways from the audience. And I'm not saying opposition to what he was necessarily saying about his personal life, but also some of the ways that it was coming out. And I think also along with that, while there may have been plenty of sympathy among people in the audience who were thinking along those same lines that Ernest was just expressing of having some level of concern for what was going on, they still weren't quite sure what to make of it. And that may be because there are other things going on with Kanye West. He does have some album-related stuff going on this week, but also still trying to figure out, where is this going? This man says he's running for president, and we're not quite sure exactly what a lot of what he's saying actually may have to do with that.
Sure. He is a Republican, yes, and he has a relationship with Donald Trump.
He has had a relationship with Donald Trump that dates back several years, at least to the 2016 campaign cycle. They've met at Trump Tower after Donald Trump was elected. And they also, as everyone may remember, in 2018 met in the Oval Office, where, as reporters who were there described, they had the wildest, most unconventional Oval Office meeting that a lot of the White House press corps had seen. So yes, he has expressed a lot of support for Donald Trump in the past, but he also recently said he was taking that red hat off, taking off his MAGA hat, meaning he was going away from Donald Trump purportedly and pursuing his own path politically.
Sure. Ernest, I mean, I read this morning, again, I don't know if it's true or not, that him and his wife are living in separate parts, separate wings of this huge house that they share. I mean, from what he said in that rally, from those tweets that were then deleted, that apart from what's going on in his own mind, there potentially, would you say there are issues at home?
Absolutely. I think that what we have to be clear is that we have to look at the nature of how this relationship got formulated. I mean, his fetishizing of Kim Kardashian for very, colorist reasons, for very fame-hungering reasons, was very much clear from the very beginning. I want to be very clear that I don't necessarily see Kim Kardashian exactly as a victim in this situation. I think that her affinity towards Black men and how she has tried to pursue her proximity to fame throughout her entire career is in alignment with the type of relationship that she's having with Kanye West, except that it's backfiring in a certain way. And so their relationship has really been, rooted in how they can succeed together. She too have a relationship with Trump and trying the Trump administration. They both have been very complicit in very oppressive systems to capitalistically gain. She has benefited financially from her relationship with Kanye as Kanye has with her. I mean, the entire family has built really $1 billion, empire based off of antics and fame and things. And I think in this situation, Kim, unlike many other aspects of her life, hasn't been able to control this situation as much as other incidents and controversies. But let's be very clear. Kanye has always said he's had an interest to run for president. before, all of these things came about. He's always done these types of antics throughout the years. And I think that now it's a situation that's gotten a little bit more personal that has made people be more concerned. But let's be very clear. These antics have always been aligned with capitalistic endeavors that he makes. And I really want to be clear that for someone who, has suffer with mental issues, as much as he is doing these outlandish things, he's also been able to accomplish a lot of things throughout his career and even in recent years. And so I do find that there's a level of manipulation and coincidence in some of these actions, that a lot of times this happens when an album is about to be sold, when there are, Adidas and contracts and things to be done. And he's very curated in when he chooses to delete certain things and when they're not, and he's cryptic. And this has been throughout his entire career. And I just wonder, will this be another episode that will happen? And then a couple of weeks from now, we won't talk about it. And then Kanye has something else to sell. And then these things come back up again.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Thank you so much. Thanks for talking to us and getting up so early. Ernest Owens, a journalist who's been covering Kanye West for a decade. Meg Kinnard, again, thank you for getting up early. I think you did. A political reporter from Associated Press. We appreciate you talking to our audience around the world.